First and foremost, Connie, I'd like to thank you for coming on the show. I greatly appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So I mean, just kind of off the bat, I wanted to ask you, are you like you said you live where in Wisconsin?
Yeah, I live in Kenosha, Wisconsin, middle of nowhere. I
Okay.
always tell people hour away from Chicago, so they kind of know where I am.
So where are you from originally? Because obviously I have a different accent.
No, I don't. I'm from Mexico. I was born and raised in Mexico,
Okay.
and I moved here, I want to say like 8 years ago.
Why Wisconsin? Like that's not a place where I would think that, you would
I
go.
know. you know, um, my whole family from my mom's side live in Chicago, and then when they have kids and stuff, they decided that they didn't want to live in the city, and Kenosha sounded like a good place to be. So
Mm-hmm.
when we moved, we got our green card residence as Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
So residents from Wisconsin. So we were required to move to Wisconsin and live here, and we haven't left. I'm
Got it.
thinking about moving. I've been thinking about it since the first snow. I was like, I can be here.
Is it just no like just nothing to do there, or like is it just the cold weather that you don't like?
It's the cold weather.
Yeah.
There's not much to do, but I feel like it's also due to the cold weather. Like
Hmm.
I still go to the gym, every day, but that's all I do.
Got it. Yeah, no, probably was a good family decision to move from Chicago. I just had a recent visit with one of my doctors, and she just recently moved from Chicago, and she said it's getting like worse and worse. It's just
Yeah,
the the
it is
crime
dangerous.
the crime
Um,
is unreal.
yeah, I get it. I mean, dangerous, and then you on top of that, you have snow like almost 5 months. Is crazy.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I mean Chicago would be cold too, just like
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
so
it's like an hour away. So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking, I'm thinking Texas. I'm thinking Miami. I don't know, but I do want to move.
Yeah, Texas is now becoming really big for bodybuilding, like the bodybuilding scene. A
Yeah,
lot of people coming out of Texas, especially in wellness too. There's a lot of good competitors coming out of Texas. Miami, of course. I mean,
yeah.
that's
No,
that
I went there. I went to Miami a couple of months ago, and I was watching a regional show, and I was like, Jesus, these girls will beat anyone back in Wisconsin. Like,
yeah,
just I feel like just living on a nice weather year round keeps you in shape as well.
sure.
Here, if you don't have to show off your muscles or anything during the winter, no one
Nobody
cares.
cares. Yeah, no, I agree. Like I live in Tennessee and we get some warm months and then some not. But my wife is from Florida and I always feel like in Florida you would just have better, like just better, like more reason to work out. It's like it's nice
Yeah,
weather, you look, you're a lot of times you're not covered up, you want to be in good shape, and so is just more conducive to like working out, like California, all those areas,
yeah. The
So
motivation is there. Like you gotta go to the beach. You have to look
right.
good.
It's built
Here it's
in.
just like you have your winter coat on. You barely gonna go outside. So yeah,
Yeah.
I get that.
I wonder how Miami looks now with the hurricane. I wonder if I can't remember. I thought they said they got hit pretty hard. There was some flooding and stuff, but I
Yeah,
don't
I saw
know.
some videos on Instagram.
Yeah. Hopefully
So
everything will go
that's one
back
of
to
the
normal.
reasons why Texas is on top of Miami.
Yeah, yeah. What do you well, before we get into like your thoughts on the Olympia and all that, what got you into bodybuilding in general?
Well, actually, when I moved here, when I was living in Mexico, I was drinking all the time, going out with my friends. I didn't care about my body or anything. So when I moved here, I went through a really dark time because I didn't speak the language. I have no friends, nothing. So I just feel like I was just enclosed at my aunt's because I was living at my aunt's at the time, and she took me to the gym, and I started going every day, and I was like, what kind of like this? And then I went into Instagram and I was looking at these girls. I'm like, why I don't look like that if I work out every day? Yes, but you're eating 8 tortillas, you're drinking beer, you're doing all
Yeah.
this other stuff. Like I didn't know exactly how to properly eat and stuff.
Hmm.
So I feel like I was just doing my research, YouTube, like how do I burn fat? How do I build muscle? Blah, 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 and all that stuff. And then I just like become like, it was like my therapy. I
Yeah.
was just like going there to have something to do. And little by little, I was learning more, and I was like, I want to have big legs. I want to have a big butt, like all that
Hmm.
stuff.
Hmm.
And then I feel like I met a guy at the gym once, and he competed back on the day. He was like an older guy, and he told me, I coach you for a show. And I was like, okay, let's try. I did figure. It was horrible. I was not conditioned, bad, but that was my first time. And even though I didn't look my best or anything, I fell in love with it. I was like, I had to do it again. And then I got another coach who, to me, have better credentials and stuff. Wellness division came around 2020, and I did 2 shows in 2020 and 2 shows in 2022. So I'm still new to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you went from figure to wellness. Like what made you decide to go that direction?
Well, when I did figure, wellness wasn't a thing in the US.
Hmm.
It was just like South America, Brazil, all that.
Hmm.
And I always liked that physique. I mean, who doesn't like just like to have bigger lower body, right?
Hmm.
So when wellness came around, I was like, that's my division, because I'm already like lower body dominant.
Hmm.
Um, to be able to do figure, I have to get extremely lean, and I need more size on my back. I still like that division a lot, but I think wellness is just where my heart goes. Just by the look of it, like it's so feminine. I think it's so sexy. I just think it's like the way every girl wants to look. Every time, like I get asked by girls, like, how do I get legs like you or a butt like you? They don't care about shoulders. They don't care about. I mean, I care about it, but most girls just want like a bigger butt.
Yeah, yeah. It's a look that's kind of accepted, in all around, not necessarily just in bodybuilding, but also like kind of everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if you heard they're taking the figure out of the Arnold now, I believe.
Yes, I heard that.
It's
I
a hot topic.
Yeah, I do not agree. I think figure is a beautiful division. I really like it. I don't think. I mean, I feel like any division, it's kind of extreme just for everything, how you have to diet and exercise. Like we take
Sure.
our bodies to the extreme, right?
Right.
But I feel like figure is still like doable, I guess. I don't know why they're doing that. I think it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't there was some reason given by some of the official people of the Arno where it almost came off like they felt like the figure wasn't as popular. And either I talked about it or I think I had an Instagram conversation with one of the top figure girls, and she was saying the one thing that figure they don't do well, as opposed to wellness, who do it very well, is they don't like work on the newer people coming up. Like they don't help them. They don't do as many as they don't do like as many what do they call those things, like seminars and things like
Hmm.
that, kind of drawing in
More
younger.
attention to the
Right.
division.
Right. And the new generation, right? And like wellness, if you see it, like they're very active. Like they're very active in the community, in their wellness community. A lot of younger girls are going into it. Like you look at somebody like Yarishna, who's always doing seminars, always somewhere. Like, she's always with like fans and things like that. And I think that's a big deal. I think that helps a lot, the division. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, and I feel like it's just like it's the new thing, right? Everybody's talking about it. Good or bad things, people talk about the division. I
Yeah.
have friends that want to move up from bikini. I have friends that want to go down from figure. So like everybody wants to do wellness now.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And I was wondering, like, what did you think, since you mentioned some of the other competitors, what did you think about last year's Olympia, and what do you think about this one? Like, I know Fran won, and so do you think that was the right choice? What do you think about who's coming up this year as well?
I honestly, I thought wellness was gonna be more focused on like size. Like when I saw Franciel, and I love her. I love her physique. She's beautiful. I agree with the decision. I thought her conditioning, everything was like spot on. However, when I see girls like um I don't know. I don't know if you know who Juju is, but she's from
Yes.
Brazil. She lives
Hmm.
in France, I think. She qualified last year, but wasn't able to do it.
Hmm.
She looks huge. Like she has bigger glutes, bigger legs. Michelle Ivata from Brazil as well.
Hmm.
Like they're bigger girls. So to me, that was like the the look that I thought was gonna win. And
Hmm.
I'm happy it didn't because it's not achievable for everybody.
Right.
Um, so I'm a fan of Francelle. I like everything about her. She's super humble. I like her physique. I think
Hmm.
she's beautiful. You know, the face, her features are super feminine. So yeah, I
Yeah.
would love to see her winning again. But I also have high expectations on Isa Pereira, um,
Hmm.
the who placed third last year,
Yes. Yeah.
and it's so hard. There's so many good competitors this
Issa,
year.
Issa got third last year. Who was
Yes,
second?
Angela
Oh,
Borges.
Angela, that's
Yeah.
right, Angela. Because that was a big deal. I talked to Robert Phil a little while. He's one coaches for a lot of wellness competitors,
Oh yeah.
and he was before the Olympia. He was really talking a lot about Angela. Like I think a lot of people thought she was gonna win,
Yeah.
and she didn't. Do you have an idea of why they gave her second and why Fran
I don't
took it?
know. I think just the shape. To me, Francia looks more like soft, a little bit more
Mhm.
feminine. Angela looks a little harder, and I think they say at first that the wellness division was supposed to be more like wellness, like a look that's achievable for people. And
Right.
honestly, that like the conditioning that these girls are bringing in is not is
Yeah.
nothing like what the division was supposed to be at first.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because it's like there's kind of like two types of looks, right? You have the ones that have like almost like bodybuilder legs, and they're like have a small waist, bodybuilder legs, and like not much of an upper body, right? So,
Hmm.
and then you have the girls like Fran who are kind of more well balanced.
Yeah.
They still have a better, like a bigger lower half, bigger legs, but not a lot. And so like
Yeah.
those are like the two types of competitors that you run into. And I don't know what makes the difference. I don't know if some people are coming up from like heavier divisions down into wellness, or maybe mm, you probably would know better. Is like Brazilian or Latin American wellness? Is it heavier legs? Like, is it, how can I put this? Like, are they more look like bodybuilder wellness competitors, or a lot of them are more like look like Fran?
I think it's genetics. I
Hmm.
think it's genetics. I think down there in Brazil they play sports all the time since they're little kids. I regret not doing anything like that when I was younger. Because you start building your muscle,
Sure.
and being the division so popular that I feel like that's why most of the girls that are at the top are coming from outside of the US.
Yeah.
Because we have competitors here like Renee Harshi, who used to do bikini, and she wouldn't train hard or as heavy to be able to stay in bikini. And there
Mhm.
is many girls like that, like Frida Paulsen, who's also doing really good right now. She wouldn't move. She had like nowhere to go. She had to stay in bikini, and she wouldn't train as hard. So I feel like the fact that those people have the division down there for so long just make them bigger and more competitive because they have been focused on like training that type of style, while
Mhm.
some of the people that we have here have been haven't been training that heavy because the division wasn't available.
Right. So like they wouldn't have the, excuse me, they wouldn't have the muscle maturity like to just jump in and do well. They have to take the time to develop, while others who like we might have not seen don't know who they are, or all of a sudden like they look amazing, and that's because they've already been training that way,
Yeah,
for a very long time. So they've already have that muscle, solidified. So yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. So you said you started competing in figure, and then you went to wellness. You did two shows in 2020, and then what, two in 2022?
Yes, yes,
So
I
so
did.
go ahead. I'm
Sorry.
sorry. No, go ahead.
I I did a regional show in 2020 and I got the overall. and then I did nationals and I placed 10th, which was the first year, the COVID year was the first year of wellness. And then I took 2020 to 2021 off, and then I did another regional show this past May, and then I did New Jersey, I think it was Universe, and I placed 12. I brought a better look, definitely a better look than 2020, but the competition is just getting better and better.
Yeah. So do you think that in that time that you took off, like just the competition got better?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was competing, my boyfriend at the time was just, and of course, like you're gonna push someone, right? But like he was sure, he's like, you're getting your pro card. Look at the girls from last year. I kind of brought the conditioning that the girls that were going pro last year, but this year everybody just were like, they were peeled. They were like super lean. And that was my feedback too, like to get tighter. And then Sandy says also long term to work on my glutes to make them bigger. So that's what I'm trying to do now.
And why did you take off that year?
Oh, well, that year, because I wanted to grow. And also I moved out of my parents. I graduated college. I got a new job. I had a lot of stuff going on. So I was like, no.
You didn't have time for it. Were you still, so like you said you wanted to grow. Were you still training just as hard like during that year?
Yeah. I was like, squatting heavier, eating more, all that type of stuff. And that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm happy I just got a new coach from Brazil, because I was like, I need to go with the ones that know exactly how the division goes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with Rayen Fogal. She's from Brazil. She's one of the bigger girls too.
I feel like I've seen her somewhere. It's real familiar, but yeah, you'd have to excuse me. I can't recall it to mind.
I'm now working with her husband, who's also her coach. So all of her, I mean, I know that I have to be the one putting in the work, right? But all of his athletes look really good. They like are super conditioned. They have like perfect balance to like her lower body and stuff. So I'm really excited to work with him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, obviously you do have to put in the work, but the coaching is important too, because it's like you can, there might be things that you're not thinking about, or like things that you're not doing, or you wouldn't even know to do, and that he already knows, because he's been, he's replicated this process already many times over. So like you said, a lot of their competitors or his competitors look great. So you just follow the same routine. That's what you want, Yeah. For sure. So, which are you planning to, do you have like a show in mind that you're?
No, yet. I literally just started working with him last weekend. So we're gonna try to like grow my glutes, to try to stay somehow lean during this off season, and then based on how I'm looking, we're gonna pick a show next year. I wanna probably just jump onto a national show right away. I don't have to qualify for one, so why would I spend the money and the time? And then
for sure,
I would like to do one kind of early on the year in case, like I miss the pro card again. I have the opportunity to do more. I don't want to wait until the end of the year and then there's no shows until next year, and then I have to re-qualify.
Do you so your goal, like at this point, like you said, is to grow, and then how's conditioning for you? Is it hard to get like as peeled as you need to for the standards that they're looking now?
Well, I think it's gonna be hard because this time around, well, I gotta be honest. I didn't stay in good shape 2021, so I had some pounds to drop, which is what I'm trying to avoid now. But I was on a deficit from January to May with no cheat meals, no, not even a refit, like just low calorie, an hour of cardio in the morning. And then I started off 30 post workout and eventually ended up doing 50, 55. So I was doing almost 2 hours of cardio a day. So yeah, that's hard. I feel like for me, it's more my lower body, like my hamstrings and my glutes. Like that's the area where I hold more body fat. Cause like this time my abs were peeled. I have like veins, like I can just pinch my skin, like
Mm.
everything was like like low body fat. But just that area is the area that I struggle. And I feel like most females, the area that I struggle the most with.
Yeah.
I didn't got like the really nice tie in on my back post.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm trying to achieve this time.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. I think you probably fell into the same problem that, I mean, I fell into for sure, and then some others, tell me if I'm wrong, but the COVID, everything going on with that, people tend to eat more, not do as much. Even if you work out, like um working out with weights doesn't necessarily prevent you from getting fat. Like that's a lot of that is like is
Yeah,
diet related. So even though you were probably training, you still, like, if you're off on your diet, it can really hurt you in the off season. A lot of people gain a lot of weight in the off season unnecessarily. I know that's the case with men. With men, it's like
yeah,
they just, I think it's a psychological thing where they think that they're with the weight that they're gaining is muscle, but it's like, but not all of it is. So
yeah. It's I feel like it's a misconception of like old school bodybuilding where they will be like, I eat all this food or like all these burgers or whatever. Not everybody has the same metabolism. Not everybody has the same genetics.
right.
So definitely, I know a bunch of people that do like dirty bulks, like oh, off season, I'm just gonna have Chick-fil-A post workout or McDonald's or something every day, and then they get huge.
Yeah.
So by the time they're cutting to get in shape again, if they put any muscle on, they probably lose that because they have to diet and do cardio so extreme to get rid of that body fat that is not even worth it.
Sure. And I mean, you're talking about like a lot of them. What's a regular, prep? Like how long is your prep usually? 12 weeks?
I did 12 on 2020, and then I did 16 this year.
16. So let's just take the high end of that, 16 weeks. So, if you gain, I mean, a ton of weight unnecessarily, and then you have to just go to an extreme cut to lose it in 16 weeks. I mean, I can't imagine you keeping much of that muscle on if
No.
you gain anything. It's just be too hard to do.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you're stressing so much, like your body, you're stressing so much about, am I going to be ready? And then stress stop you from burning fat too. So it's
Yeah, yeah.
like,
Raises your cortisol, then you really have a hard time burning any body fat. And it doesn't even matter like how much you work out. It's like it just retains that. So being
exactly.
being stress free is so important, but that's hard to do. Um do you stress out a lot when you're prepping?
Even when I'm not prepping, I'm always stressed. Like I stress too much, and it's like anxiety. Like I have
Uh-huh.
family in Mexico, and sadly, some stuff has been going on with you know, the cartel and all that stuff in my
Yeah.
hometown. So sometimes I will go to bed and I'm just thinking like, oh my brother, oh
Yeah.
my nephews, like things that I cannot control, but like I think about that all the time. Um,
Right.
I have I have two jobs right now, and when I was prepping, I was just like an autopilot. I would just get up at 4, cardio, go to work, come home, go to the gym, do cardio again, come home, prep your meals, take a shower, go to bed. Like it was just that for months and months and months.
How do
So
you how do you get all that? You must be like very regimented, very like you have a very strict routine, right? Is that
yes,
yeah.
I had everything like time, like I have my
Mhm.
alarm time, and I was getting up at the same time every single day, and it was just everything on repeat. Like I didn't even realize when I stopped this process how long like I was doing the same thing. Like I was just like an autopilot for like 8 months straight.
Mhm.
Um just doing the same thing every single day. Like I
Yeah.
didn't even know if it was a Monday or a Saturday. Like I was just doing the same thing every single day.
You know what throws me off is like a lot of times I like to get up in the morning and do fasted cardio, but what will throw my whole day and week and everything off is if I go to bed later than I should. Like, do you ever run into that? Are you pretty good about going to bed right on time?
No, actually, I was doing. I think that's something that I also wasn't playing on my favor. I will get home from the gym around 9 every night, and I
Mhm.
will still have 2 meals to eat. I will have to shower and prep my meals for the next day. So I was
Mm.
going to bed probably around 11, 10, 10:40 the earliest, and then I was up at 4 a.m. the next day.
That's
So I wasn't getting enough sleep, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. I think sleep is one of those things that are just overlooked. It's overlooked because you feel like you have to get so much done, and sleep just doesn't seem as important. You're like, well, I'll just go to bed when I'm done. But the problem comes in is like that. I was reading somewhere. It was a medical class that I was actually taking in university, and they said that just sleep is literally the most anabolic thing you can do like throughout the day. It's more anabolic than like your food, than your workouts, than anything. If you don't get enough sleep, a lot of that other stuff just doesn't really like compare. Like you can't make up for sleep by working out
Exactly.
more.
Yeah, and
So,
it's a whole thing. Like you have to have everything on check, you know? So
yeah.
that's what I was lacking of. And I will come home from work and be tired or something.
Mhm.
And my boyfriend at the time will be like, take a nap.
Mhm.
I cannot take naps. I cannot fall asleep during the day. I don't know what's wrong with me. I will lay there and try, and I would just be like, and then I feel so unproductive, you know, like if I'm
Mhm.
resting, I'm like, I should be doing this, I should be practicing my posing, or I should be doing this or that, you know, like there was something, always something on the back of my head, like you
Yeah.
should be doing something else. So
Yeah.
that's something I need to work on, definitely.
Yeah, I'm so unlike some people that I know that can fall asleep just like that, in the middle of the day. I'm like you. I cannot take naps during the day. It's very hard. I would have to be just completely exhausted because like you, I feel that I'm wasting time, like precious
Yeah.
time during the day by sleeping when I could be doing something else. But that's not the greatest mentality to have, but it's kind of like something that I've always done. So it's very hard for me to do anything else, and it's definitely something to work on for sure.
Yeah, we both need to work on that. Keep
Yeah.
me keep me updated.
Of course, yeah. No, so no shows planned. You're just gonna grow. Do you have like, do you when you when you're trying to grow, like what's the process? Just eating more food and lifting heavier? Like how do you generally like go about that?
Well, I feel like my workout split has changed. I'm doing a full day of just glutes, and
Hmm.
then I'm I'm doing shoulders the next day. So I get like that little rest in between for my lower body, and then I'll do hamstrings and I touch up on glutes again. And then I'll do back, and then I take a day off, and then I'm gonna be doing quads. And I'm doing calves every single day because that's one thing that I want to work on too, my calves, because I'm the type of person that I'll do it after like at the end of my workout, and then I leave, I get home, and I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't do calves again. So I've been putting a lot of work on my calves. They have grown in this last couple of months, so I'm very proud of that. But I want more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like the thing you need to do the most when you want to grow is rest.
Mhm.
Sleep good, eat your carbs, post workout,
Yeah.
pre and post workout specifically. I don't think you need to train as heavy as long as you are making your muscle literally cry, literally like rip, so it can like grow back. So
Mhm.
I don't remember where I hear this, because like I told you, I do a lot of my own research,
Mhm.
but they say that the muscle just grow like a scar. So you go to the
Mhm.
gym, you completely like destroy your muscle, and then your
Mhm.
muscle is like, it's like the fibers like rip, right? So they have to regenerate like a scar tissue and
Right.
grow. So that's
Right.
how it works. So you have to you have to feed your muscles, and then you have to rest.
Yeah.
So right now I haven't gotten my new workout split from my coach, which I'm very excited about. I cannot wait to see what he's gonna have me doing.
Mhm.
um but I feel like I'm gonna be taking like probably 2 days off during the week, so I can get more rest. because
Yeah.
that's the one thing I need to do the most. And that's something else I need to work on. Like on my days off, I just feel like I should be at the gym. Like I don't know, I don't know what to do with my life.
Mhm.
The day goes by so slow. I'm so bored. I should be doing, I should be doing something.
Right, right.
So
It's
definitely
hard.
something that I need to work on.
Yeah, it's hard not to like not to go to the gym, especially if you don't have anything else to do and you're like, why would I just sit at home? Like I could just go train,
If I could go to the gym,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly.
So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
addictive.
yeah, that's this. So you kind of, at least up to this point, I know you haven't gotten your split and more information from your coach, but up to this point, you're doing a lot of volume. It sounds like a lot of
Yeah,
volume. Yeah. I've become more volume based, as I've gotten a little bit like into bodybuilding a little longer. Initially I started, I was just heavy, heavy, just
yeah,
constantly heavy. And then I started thinking, well, I mean, if you're working out the muscle, if it's stressed, right? Like you said, if it's stressed, if it cries, basically, like you said, then it shouldn't matter too much how much weight is on there. I mean, you want to get enough where it's, you feel it, but it's
yeah.
like, but to
Where it's
go
hard to.
right, but it's when you go to the point where it's like so extremely heavy and you can only do like 1 or 2 reps, it's like, what's the point? I mean,
Yeah.
it's I don't know if you get as much out of it as you would if you did it more
No, I
volume.
don't think no to grow your muscle if your main goal is like strength. Yeah, I mean you're gonna get
Yeah,
stronger, right? But for like muscle building, no, I think it's more about like you say volume, repetition,
right.
like
Frequency.
keep the
Yeah.
tension on your muscle like at all the times. So yeah, and also like I think it's smart to do too because when I first started working out, I would just go heavy. I would just be like, like
Hmm.
I don't know, my ego. I was just like, oh, look at how strong I am. I will hurt myself. It's pointless to be honest. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
to ever hurt myself again.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, right? Like nobody thinks about the fact that you can hurt yourself. And it's like they think of it like as a theoretical thing, but like nobody's like, oh, like it might actually happen. And so when it does happen, it throws people off, especially if you have an injury that you have to take a lot of time off for, because then you're missing out on all that time to build, and it's just sucks. And like with you, being in wellness, working legs all the time. It's, a lot of that is like using your back, lower back, things like that. You definitely don't want to cause any injuries like to your lower back or anything like
Oh
that,
no,
because
no.
then I mean, it's a long recovery for that. So
Yeah, I'm afraid of it. I always think about like when I'm doing like straight leg deadlifts or anything like that. I'm always just like so focused, try not to engage my lower back because
mhm.
I don't know what I will do if I had to take off like a long time from the gym.
Yeah,
I probably
yeah.
will be crying all day.
It's hard for me. It's hard for me to not engage my lower back on those, because and I sometimes I don't even know how I'm doing it, because I'll do it and then I'll feel my lower back like really sore and I'm like, oh, I must have engaged my lower back too much, because I can just feel it in there. It's like one wrong move, and that'll be it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how I hurt myself once. I was doing straight like that lifts at the gym, and I had like a 100 something pound barbell, and that was back like when I first started working out. And I felt how I pulled that thing up from the floor with just my lower
Mhm.
back, and I drop it, and like I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
I drove home, and I was literally crying on the car because I couldn't even drive.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that took me like a week for the pain to go away. But after that, I was just like, I'm done with this. I had to be more careful
Hmm.
because that was bad.
Yeah. A buddy of mine hurt his back. I think he hurt it and then he went to do squats afterwards, try to push through it. And by the time he was done, I had to drive him to his physical therapy, and he would just lay in the back of the truck because he couldn't,
Oh
like,
my
he just
god.
couldn't move. I thought, like, it was so bad that I thought that he would never recover. Now thankfully he's okay now, but it was scary. It was really scary. So you got to
Lesson
be
learned,
careful.
right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you look at somebody like, Ronnie Coleman. I don't know if you ever got a chance to see the documentary that he has on Netflix. Yeah,
Yes,
it's a good one. I saw it a while ago, but one thing that I took from that is that while he's amazing and he's incredible, I wouldn't even say arguably, he's the best bodybuilder of all time for the men, of course. Um, he did a lot of volume, but he did extremely heavy weights, and he was a freak, but you kind of see where he is now. It's
exactly.
like
Yeah.
multiple back surgeries, pins, all kinds of screws in his back. He can barely function. So you got to think about that kind of stuff too. So then
Yeah, like the
unfortunate.
longevity, like where do you want to be when you're older? Like
Right.
how do you want to? Because yeah, I mean everybody, like people that are really aware of like what the sports involve, will be like, oh, you're so healthy, you're eating so clean. Uh, yes, I'm eating clean foods,
Mhm.
but it's not healthy, and that's what I try to tell people too, because I have so many friends that are like, I want to compete. I'm like, are you willing to do all this dieting, all this cardio? Like your body's gonna cry, it's gonna scream for you to stop.
Yeah.
Because that's how I felt towards the end of my prep. I just feel so tired. So I always tell people like it's not something that is healthy. You're taking your body to the extreme. As females, you lose your period. I had a lot of like hormonal problems with my. I got like a lot of acne after my show
Hmm.
too, and it's just like all the stress that you're putting your body through. Like even if you
Sure.
don't have stress on your mind, your body's stressed all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, I like to put it like there was somebody that said something similar to me about bodybuilding, that their, health and everything like that. And it's like, yes, to a degree, right? Because, and I try to compare it to like elite level athletes of any kind, right? So for example, like going jogging in, one whatever, like for your health is great, right? Great, nothing wrong with it. You go jog, enjoy yourself, get healthy. Running at an elite level, like at Olympics or elite level, is not great for you. It's like
mm-mm,
because it's terrible for your knees, it's terrible for everything. So like any sports on the elite level is like there's going to be like sacrifices. It's
exactly. Yeah.
so that's just the way it is, unfortunately. But yeah, so I mean, I guess just to kind of wrap up, so you haven't picked the show, you're on your way, to growing more. Can I get who you think is going to win this year's Olympia before we wrap up?
I will say Franciel again.
Yeah.
I think she is gorgeous. I think she's the whole package. And like I say, back on last year, I was thinking, no, they're gonna go for size. But
Mhm.
based on the decision they made, I don't see anyone taking her spot. If anything, I have high expectations on Isa Pereira,
Mhm.
but I still think Francine got everything to take the Olympia again.
Yeah, I think as long as the criteria remains the same for what they're looking for, I think she's going to be an Olympia champ for a few years, and then maybe they'll make an adjustment, because this is only the second one, so we'll see what happens.
Yes,
But
exactly.
yeah,
She's
but
the
yeah,
standard right now, but there's so many girls that are good, and they have different body types than her that are coming to the Olympia this year.
yeah.
There are girls from Brazil that are like Michelle. I don't know if you know who Michelle is, but Michelle Ibata, who also has the same coach as
Hmm.
Franciel. She is bigger. She has like huge glutes. Her glute shape is completely different.
Hmm.
So now the judges are gonna have more to like pick and choose. And like you say, it's a new division. They might go for something different this year.
Yeah,
I myself would like to keep Franciel as the standard, but we'll see. We'll see what
yeah.
they like.
Yeah, that's a good point, because the point that you made about having more options and different looks to compare it to. Right now, we just saw one show, one look, one Olympia.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what other looks come down the line, because they might decide that another look is better. So we don't know. That's part of the issue with and if you might like it but you might not, is with bikini, is they seem to be picking different people all the time. Like if you notice, like I think Ashley Caldwell is the only one that won 3 times, and that's the record for bikini Olympias. So when you compare it to other divisions, I mean, you have Olympia champs for 8 years, 7 years, so it's we'll see what wellness will look like, so for sure.
Yeah, the sport is always evolving, like I remember back on the day how figure used to look like what we have for bikini now, right?
Yeah.
So they're getting bigger and leaner. And that's the thing, like for wellness, I personally wouldn't want them to go to an extreme to get like as lean as figure or as lean as women's physique, right?
Yeah.
But if everybody starts showing up with that leanness, that's what they're gonna be looking for.
Yeah.
So hopefully it doesn't go that route, because I think it's extreme. It's again, it's already extreme, but it's more. So we'll see.
Yeah. The extreme factor is a real problem, right? Because people like to see extremes. So when someone comes up on the stage and they look just ridiculous, judges want to reward that because that is just so extreme. But the problem with that is now, if that's the standard, everybody's chasing that, and that look is sometimes very hard to attain, like almost impossible, right? Like that might be a one person type of,
yeah,
one or two people
and
type of
sometimes it's
situation.
just generics too.
Yeah,
like sometimes it comes down to generics, and no, everybody is the same.
Yeah,
like Ronnie Coleman, I think that guy has amazing generics for bodybuilding. So not
100%.
everybody's gonna be like him.
100%.
Not everybody can eat or live like he did.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? It's like genetics is one aspect, and then like you said, living that kind of life is also another. Most people have one or the other, right? Like most people work really hard, but maybe they don't have the genetics, or they have the genetics but they're lazy, and it's like
exactly.
when you put both together, that's when you get like those real champions, so yeah, for sure. Well, Connie, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to speak with me. I really enjoyed it.
Me too. Thank you for the opportunity. It was great.
Yeah, of course. So I just wanted to give you an opportunity to also plug anything in. If somebody wanted to reach out to you for more podcasts or things like that, what would be the best way for them to contact you?
Instagram. If you can leave my link below.
Will
it's
do.
BDSSCONNY. Yeah, I have like a little coaching business that I run by myself. But I love to talk to people. Once they ask me one question about bodybuilding, I can go on and on and on and on and make people sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, like definitely reach out, guys.
Well, what I was also gonna say, that's why it's like it was nice having you on the interview. Sometimes people that I have on the show, it's difficult because sometimes they're just not as talkative. So I have to like draw them out with like certain questions and things like that, and it gets very hard. But like this was a very easy conversation. I can really tell that you're passionate about it. I should have asked you about like whether you have coaching businesses. I'm glad you mentioned it. And guys, I'll link everything at the bottom that you'll need to reach Connie here. So
thank you.
Thank you, Connie.
Appreciate it.
You take care. Have a good
Have a great night. Bye.
Bye.